Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. I'm your host, Brenda. I have a couple breaking stories for you. Uh, the first one I have is off of the AustinChronicle.com, and it's about Standing Rock and the DAPL project that's going on. And the article is entitled, Standing Rock's Civil Disobedience Reaches West Texas. It's the Rio Grande. It's sacred to many people. And here's how the article reads. Shortly after 4 a.m. on Monday, a small caravan of cars pulled up in front of a pipe yard on the west side of Alpine, Texas, until recently a rare sight in this remote corner of the state. In the morning, Pine resident Lori Glover clamped a U-lock around her neck and chained herself to the access gate. Roger Singlin and area Joe Bastista, I guess that's how it's pronounced, did the same at other gates. Supporters gathered around and lit candles. They burned sage in spirit of prayer and sang popular protest songs like "This Land is Your Land" and "We Shall Overcome." That's when the incorporated employees began to arrive. They were stirred up like a nest of hornets, Glover's husband Mark told the Chronicle by phone. They were going to each gate and peeling out and driving back and forth. It took a succession of bolt cutters to free the trio from the gates, said Mark, before Lori, age 44, and Singlin, age 80, were taken to Brewster County Jail, charged with criminal trespass, and released. The two were offered the chance to walk away from the gates with no charges, but refused. Batista, age 30, chose not to be arrested. Residents in Alpine have been resisting the pipeline for more than a year, but with trenching and welding finally reaching their front doors, their tactics have ramped up. We just don't want the oil and gas industry invading this area and changing the beauty of this place, Lori Glover said before a November anti-pipeline march outside Marfa. This is the last place in Texas that is untouched by oil and gas, and the project opens the door. We already see that. The Glovers helped found the organization, Defend Big Bend, though operate as the Big Bend Defense Coalition today, to help galvanize resistance to the to the Trans-Pecos pipeline being built by Dallas-based Energy Transfer Partners. It's a planned 148-mile natural gas pipeline intended to link the frac lands of West Texas Permian Basin to deregulating Mexican economy to the south. Of course, to reach Mexico, it has to cross beneath the Rio Grande first. That's where, in an echo of Standing Rock Sue's to date successful fight to block the EPT crude oil pipeline from crossing Lake Oahe near primary drinking water source, things could get difficult. This week lockdown represents the first arrest in this escalating conflict targeting Energy Transfer Partners, soon to do business as Sunoco, and its CEO, Kelsey Warren, in late September. About 200 area residents from around the state, including a variety of tribal representatives concerned with preservation of sacred sites and protection of precious ground and surface water in the region, marched from downtown Alpine to Pamlico pipeline yard nearby construction site. Attendees peacefully dispersed after an hour of a gated fence rattling. The march was billed as Big Bend standing with Standing Rock. 1 month later, in November, more than 100 gathered outside Texas Parks Wildlife Commission meeting to demand the resignation of Pipeline Cowboy and Abbott appointee Warren from the board, with several speakers being ejected from the meeting. And then there's an inset here that you can click on to see Kelsey Warren takes a meeting. That's another link, but you can get more information. It says a second Big Bend march, this time gathering in late November at Marfa Mystery Lights Viewing Center and ending at a pipeline construction site about 10 miles east of Marfa, concluded with roughly 20 people illegally entering the pipeline easement to conduct an indigenous ceremony and prayer beside the pipeline trench. We're hoping to let Kelsey Warren know that if he continues this, we're going to end up just like Standing Rock. We're going to stand here the same. We'll bring people here. We'll have a camp if we have to, said Jackie Hagen's Society of Native Nations. The Big Bend resistance is directly inspired by the experience of Standing Rock, where the Dakota peoples of Standing Rock Native American Reservation, since joined by more than 300 indigenous tribes and nations from around the world and thousands of non-Native allies during their months-long encampment in North Dakota, have for now stopped Warren's $3.7 billion Dakota Access Pipeline in its tracks. After 4 months of lawsuits, consultations, and numerous direct action protests, the resistance finally wrested a permit denial over the weekend from U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, ordering EPT not to drill beneath Lake Oahe and the Missouri River. Protest tactics in North Dakota have often involved unauthorized entry and occupation of pipeline construction sites, almost always with prayers and chants of "water is life," though minor cases of property damage have been reported. In response, the Morton County Sheriff's Department, with support from regional law enforcement and an assortment of private security interests like Tiger Swan, have countered the nonviolent protest with an overwhelming and often indiscriminate display of force that has drawn rebuke from the United Nations investigators. Last week, a request for temporary restraining order against police forces filed in North Dakota Federal District Court decried the use of an arsenal of dangerous implements and devices, including water cannons and sub-freezing temperatures, rubber bullets, chemical agents, and flashbang-like grenades. The latter is believed by family members and eyewitnesses to have been what exploded on 21-year-old woman delivering water to those engaged in the front line, nearly separating her arm from her body. Another woman, shot in the eye with tear gas canister, according to the complaint, suffered a detached retina and is facing possible permanent blindness. In spite of the dramatic level of violence directed against them and the freezing temperatures that have gripped the camp in recent weeks, the Standing Rock resistance has been tenacious. It is this level of resistance that Warren should expect over the Trans-Pecos and related projects within the state, warned Houston's Jackie Hagens, a member of the newly formed Society of Native Nations. We're hoping to let Kelsey Warren know that if he continues this, we're going to end up just like Standing Rock, she said. We're going to stand here the same. We'll bring people here. We'll have a camp if we have to. It's going to be the same as Standing Rock. It's the Rio Grande, added Frankie Arona, director of Society of Native Nations. It's sacred to many people. It feeds millions of people, the same as the Mississippi, the same as the Missouri. Lori Glover is agitating for full environmental impact review of the pipeline, which she said has, which she said so far has been denied. Like the Dakota Access Pipeline, we really haven't gotten a full environmental impact study, she said. There's been very little regulatory oversight, especially when it comes to water crossings. Whatever happens at Standing Rock with Lake Oahe on the Missouri River, Glover explains that the same spirit of resistance to continue its burn in Texas, it seems to just be growing and growing. I think that the more we stand, the more capacity will grow. She personally was offended by EPT's response to the Army Corps' denial, which the company said they have no intention of rewriting the pipeline, referring to Standing Rock Sioux and their allies as narrow and extremely political constituency. That she has pledged to do anything I can to make him as uncomfortable as possible. And this story has been updated to more accurately reflect the relationship between Big Bend Defend and Big Bend Defense Coalition. So there you have that information linking Big Bend and DAPL. and the Standing Rock situation. The next one I have for you is breaking news, and it is off of dcmediagroup.us. Both of these URLs are in the description of this video if you'd like to do further research. This one is entitled Breaking Lockdown at Spectra AIM Construction Site at Hudson River Crossing. 12 people were arrested blocking the controversial gas pipeline slated to pass near nuclear power plant. And this was updated at 11:30 p.m. It says 12 people were arrested at construction site in Verplanck, New York, where Spectra Energy is pulling pipe under the Hudson River to complete its AIM pipeline project. The 12 stormed inside the site, according to Kim Frazik, director of Sane Energy Project. 6 of the activists then locked themselves to construction equipment, disrupting nighttime work on the pipeline. Supporters of the property cheered as police pulled out with 12 arrestees. And I'll give you the information from the 10 p.m., which was a little earlier than what I just read you. It says 6 activists had locked themselves to equipment at Spectra construction site where the Algonquin Incremental Market, called AIM, pipeline project crosses the Hudson River. At about 8:30 p.m., activists swarmed the site where Spectra is now pulling pipeline under the river, according to Kim Frazik of Sane Energy Project. Spectra security, state police, and local police officers are on the scene. Objections to the Spectra AIM gas pipeline have largely focused on its route, which passes only 105 feet from Indian Point Energy Center. The river crossing in Verplanck, New York, which the activists have locked down, is less than a mile from the nuclear power plant. The aging nuclear power plant has a long history of emergency shutdowns and leakage into the Hudson River. People opposing the project contend that with the additional 142 diameter gas pipeline, an accident is likely and would have catastrophic consequences. Easy for me to say, huh? Spectra AIM was supposed to go into service on November 1st, transporting fracked gas from Pennsylvania to New England, but there were difficulties with test drilling under the Hudson River over the summer caused delays. Clay in the riverbed collapsed during the test drilling, and a drill bit broke and was lost in the river. The drill method is the controversial horizontal directional drill, the HDD technique. Over project opponents' objections, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission gave permission for the company to continue with the project. In October, construction was also delayed when 4 activists crawled into the pipeline intended to be pulled under the Hudson River and occupied it for 16 hours. So there you have on the pipeline situation.